What's going on, everybody? Today, Unity just announced a massive change to their pricing structure and sent shockwaves, angering developers everywhere. So, guys, I have a quick solution that will help you guys out with this problem. So, all you got to do is go to your web browser, go to unrealengine.com, and click on this button that says download. Oh, guys, seriously, my name is Eli. I run an indie game studio called TreeFall Studios. I am a current full-time game developer. My full-time income comes from selling video games, indie games, and all of our games are made on the Unity game engine. So let's just dive into this news together. Let's talk about it. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts, some solutions, some commentary, and we'll just see what we see. This is crazy. Alrighty, guys, so we're taking a look at the tweet here. As you can see at the time of this recording, this is 1.8 million views. We're not logged into Twitter here, so you could see, if you're logged in, this is one of the #1 trending topics. So let's just read it together. It says, Unity says, today we announced a change to our business model, which includes new additions to our subscription plans and the introduction of a runtime fee. We wanted to provide clarifying answers to the top questions most of you are asking. Yes, this is a price increase and it will only affect a small subset of current Unity users. Today, a large majority of Unity Editor users are currently not paying anything and will not be affected by this change. The Unity runtime fee will not impact the majority of our developers. They're really trying to get that out there. The developers who will be impacted are generally those who have successful games and are generating revenue way above the thresholds we outlined in our blog. This means that developers who are still building their business and growing their audience of their games will not pay a fee. The program was designed specifically this way to ensure developers could find success before the install fee takes effect. We want to be clear that the counter for Unity runtime fee installs starts on January 1st, 2024. It is not retroactive or perpetual. We will charge once for a new install and not an ongoing perpetual license royalty like revenue share. We looked for ways to lessen the impact on developers and provide ways to bring runtime fee to zero. If you're using any of our ad products, gaming services, cloud services, etc., please contact us to discuss discounts. We're actively listening and following your questions closely. Please review our FAQ on today's announcement. Here's a link, blah, blah, blah. We also invite you to discuss these changes on our forums, guys. Okay, so if we take a look here, let's go ahead and pull up another article. This is like an article on GameDeveloper.com. This was also trending. Looks like they had an interview here with the CEO of Unity, and you can kind of see right here. I just wanted to pull this up before we start talking about it, so you guys can see these are the thresholds. If you're using Unity Personal or Unity Plus, the threshold is 200,000 installs or $200,000 in revenue. If you're using Unity Pro, it's $1 million in revenue and 1 million installs, and same for Enterprise. Then we got some weird stuff, installs over the threshold here. Once you go past a certain threshold, basically if you're using Unity Pro, they start to give you discounts right here. It looks like it goes down as you go up in downloads, but that's if you're paying for Unity Pro, and it just remains 20 cents per install no matter what you've got installed if you're on Unity Personal or Unity Plus, which makes Unity Plus basically useless. Yeah, so this article, they got some, you can read it if you're interested. I just want to highlight a couple of things, and then we're going to talk about my thoughts on this. And what I think the most dangerous thing is. And personally, guys, I think the most dangerous aspect of this is their attitude and their outlook on the games industry and what they think is success. So if we go back here to this tweet, and then I'm going to outline something in this article, they basically say, let's see, where is it? This is only going to impact those who have successful games and are generating revenue above the thresholds. So in Unity's eyes, the guys that are making the game engine that are powering all sorts of small-time indie games, their version of success is high download count and ongoing revenue. There's a line in here, and that's not what I think success is personally. I'm making a full-time living from this, and I don't have any of this kind of stuff. All right, guys, took me a second to find this here, but this line is what stuck out to me the most from this interview. Unity stated in a blog that is implementing the runtime fee in lieu of a revenue sharing program. The company said it believes an install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from player engagement. So this is the key line here. This is very scary. So this shows that their attitude and what they think of as success is engagement, metrics, data mining, and selling people on microtransactions on free-to-play games that last forever. And they want a piece of that pie. They're pushing the industry forward in that direction, and that's not where I think the industry needs to go. All right, so guys, let me give you a couple quick thoughts, and then we'll wrap up the video by talking about what I plan to do, some advice on what I think you guys should do if you're getting into game development, where I think that this is pushing the games industry, and then we'll take a gander again at that chart and see how close I am to actually having to pay some of those revenue fees. They mentioned it that the small-time developers, which I am a small-time developer, aren't really going to have any changes, and that's true for me right now because I haven't sold more than 200,000 copies of my games in the past year, so that's really not going to affect every single person, but as my company grows and as things grow, I wouldn't be too far away from that type of threshold limit. And it's really not even about the limit itself. It's more about the attitude of where this company thinks that it can go and where it can push developers around. And I think it's realized its footprint on how many people use it, but I think they underestimate the amount of people that this could just scare off and just tank their company overnight, basically. So I wrote some notes here, guys. A couple things. I went through the article and I read through a ton of people's tweets. I saw people posting videos on this already. I'm a bit late to this topic because, guys, I was just signed out of social media. I had no idea that this was even announced. I was having a great night. I was just playing my PlayStation, just chilling, hanging out with my wife and my puppy. And then, boom, I decided to check my friend's Discord, and a ton of developers were just freaking slam out. Everybody was scared to death, talking about deleting Unity, getting off of it right now. I saw game developers talking about being scared about the future and continuing to make games with Unity. As far as I can tell, looking at the terms here, it doesn't look like this is going to be charged on free games. My initial thoughts were this is an attack on Game Pass, an attack on demos, and basically, they won't be able to track piracy and uninstalls/reinstalls. So if the Unity developers who decide to stick with this, so like if our company decides to stick with this, basically you're going to see a drop off in demos was my first thought. Looks like they're not going to be charging the fee on products that are free. It looks like they're going to be charging it only on... I don't understand though, because the fine print is a little wordy, because if you charge on free-to-play games, but I guess there's a monetary incentive on that. Are they going to charge for demos? I'm not really sure. But if they do, you're basically going to see all Unity games have no demos because no one's going to pay 20 cents per demo download. I don't know how they're going to track piracy. And to do this is going to be an invasion of player privacy, because that means built into Unity games, they're going to be doing some kind of tracking device to try to figure out if the copy's been, how many times it's been installed, how many times it's been uninstalled. They're going to be doing, that's got to send back to Unity's headquarters. So they're going to be doing some kind of online communication in the background of your products. Definitely not a good look if you're concerned about internet privacy. That kind of concerns me a little bit. Let's see. And this is an attack on Game Pass, guys. So, like, let's say Microsoft writes you a check. They write Hollow Knight a check for, $250,000 in order for them to leave the game on Game Pass for 6 months. These are just made-up figures, guys. Similar to what you would receive, okay? Let's say that Microsoft gives them a bag of money. They give them a big old bag of cash. but then they download the game. All the players that have Game Pass, let's say 10 million people play the game for free. Okay, 10 million times 20 cents is $200,000. Actually, I did that math wrong in my head. That would be $2 million. Okay, 20 cent times 10 million, it would be $200,000 on a million downloads, I guess. Yeah, that's how that math would work out. So that would basically negate all of the money that Microsoft paid you, and either if you had a game made in Unity, Microsoft would either have to pay you way more money for you to actually put the game on the service, which would raise the cost of Game Pass, or you will never see a Unity game go to Game Pass ever again. So something like Hollow Knight, or, they have, I'm pretty sure that Silk Song, the sequel, which is made in Unity, is supposed to be going to Game Pass. That would be, that deal might get renegotiated really quickly. Guys, on this channel, I talk about all sorts of things that are going on in the game industry, and I give you my perspective as a small-time indie game developer, and actually a growing indie developer. I shouldn't say so small-time. We're getting bigger by the day. If you guys are new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and plug that there. But this truly scares me a little bit because it just shows the attitude of the people making the game engine. It's not friendly towards basically the consumer or developers, and it's going to push the game industry in a dangerous place. So even though it doesn't affect me now, I would be foolish to think that, oh, they'll roll this back or it'll be fine. I'm not going to hit that threshold just yet. It won't cost that much. I'll just keep using Unity and not worry about it. I would be really, really dumb to not start looking into other options, because if they do this, what else are they going to be feeling like they can do in the future? A lot of this is coming from the economy, guys. Inflation is really, really rampant, not just in the United States, but worldwide, and costs are rising all across the board. PlayStation just announced PS Plus prices are increasing. Xbox just announced that Game Pass prices are increasing. The prices of video games are going up. The cost of developing video games are going up. And now the engines, which already have been going up, Unity raised prices 1 year ago, guys, on their Pro plans. This plan, you have to pay money per person, per seat, per year to have that plan. And now on top of that, you have to pay for installs. That is absolutely just insane. This cannot continue. All of this is going to come screeching to a halt, and a lot of studios and a lot of people in the game industry are going to go bust. I know this sounds doom and gloom, and it kind of is. Eventually, a lot of the practices that are currently going on in the game industry are not sustainable financially speaking, especially if the economy takes a downturn. But I'm hopeful that there's some solutions out there. As for me, I'm going to have to stick with Unity for just a wee bit longer. I currently have like 3 to 4 projects that are in the works that are almost done, that are currently being made in Unity. But after that, I think I'm going to take a hard look at some of my options. Everybody is really pushing towards Godot, and that's just not something that is feasible for someone who's releasing on consoles. So I am going to download the Unreal Engine, and I'm going to take a little play around with that and just see what we've got going on. The only problem is why I never switched to the Unreal Engine before, when Unity started doing some of these other price raising shenanigans and some of this other stuff, is because Unreal Engine is not available or is easy to port to every system. I mean, you can port it to the PlayStation pretty easy, but getting, your game on Nintendo Switch, or, we have games on the Atari VCS, stuff like that, I think it's a little bit more complicated to get it working. Unity is so built to be easy to port to like everything. So it's going to be a lot of pain, guys, a ton of pain for us to move off of Unity. But like I mentioned earlier, if you are new, and for me, myself included, I've been working in the game industry for like 10 years now. But if you're brand new, I would definitely start looking at different options when weighing what game engine you're planning on using. And for someone who's been using Unity for years and making money for years off of it, even me at this point, like it's a little dangerous if I don't start becoming proficient in other tools and other engines. I've always wanted to write my own game engine and have a proprietary engine for TreeFall Studios. So I guess this might be the kick in the pants. We might eventually have to do that. So, guys, welcome to the Oak engine. It's coming soon, the solid tree, and we won't charge you guys nearly as much as Unity charges us. All right, so final thoughts, guys. I would be taking a look at all of your options. If you are a brand new game developer, you haven't gotten started, our channel is the perfect channel for you. We usually talk about how to get people from no skills, very beginning, to actually starting a company and going full time. And for this video, my advice is, I don't know what I would say about Unity. I think it's a little scary about what they might do in the future. This is a little scary, especially if you become successful, because you're already having to pay for the licensing fee. You're already having to pay for dev kits. You're already having to pay for installs now. You have to pay taxes. You got to pay for all your other tools. All the costs getting associated with making games are becoming too high, and more people are going to not be able to follow their dream and have to just wrap their companies up or shut them down. So this is pretty crazy. I would definitely take a look at Unreal. Let's see what we got. Actually, I don't have the camera up here. Let me grab this real fast. Yeah, I would take a look at Unreal, go to the Unreal Engine, because I think that their solutions, they were a little bit more expensive than Unity in the beginning, but at this point, I would say probably in the long run, it's gonna be a less expensive overall. So this is something that I'm gonna be looking into. I'm actually gonna look seriously into possibly creating, eventually our own game engine. This kind of stuff is just crazy. There are some other game engines that have similar fee structures to Unreal. The CryEngine has gotten a little bit better in terms of fee structures. And there's also an engine from Amazon called Amazon Lumberyard that I talked about in one of my other videos. That's something I also thought about looking into eventually. So guys, there are options out there. Weigh all of your options. I would be very, very hesitant to think about going to Unity now. For the time being, as far as what I'm going to be doing, I will definitely be finishing my current projects in Unity. I will be examining my options, and the one that I choose, I will give you guys an update video. It'll probably be in about 3 months, because that's when about all these projects will be wrapped up. And I will let you guys know which direction I choose and what is the cheapest route when you're starting a brand new game studio. But let me know in the comments below, are you a Unity game developer? Does this scare you? Are you going to be switching off Unity? Let me know what you think. If you guys are new to the channel, this is a YouTube channel that is focused on my games, my game development. You guys can follow along for trailers, devlogs, all sorts of content on cool and fun indie games. But I also do tutorial videos, game industry commentary like this, and help other people get started in game development. So if that is interesting to you and you have not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. We are on the road to 1,500 subscribers. I would love to get there at the end of this month. We've been growing really, really quickly. So join us now. Come join the TreeFall tribe and help us reach that goal. That would be awesome. You can find links in the description below to support us on Patreon. And with that being said, I got to give a huge shout out to everybody who supports TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. I got to give a personal shout out to Carmen Red, Overhyped Gamer, Shark and Minnow, PLP, and Thomas Stewart. Thank you guys for what you do for TreeFall Studios on patreon.com. I couldn't do what I do without you guys. Links down below. You guys can find out more about that. You can find our games down below if you want to check out some of our indie games and see what kind of games are running this studio full time and what kind of games we've made in Unity. We've made all sorts of games, from arcade to puzzle to first person to 3D platformers, all sorts of stuff, even all the way to brain training. So you guys can check those down below. They're on Steam, PlayStation, and Atari VCS. All right, guys, without further ado, that's going to end this game industry commentary video. I hope this video finds you well, and I will catch you in the next one.